Did you realize that your hidden mind already recognizes who the true partner of your life is before your awake brain even understands it? Carl Jung, one of the most gifted psychologists in history, found something that will totally shift your perspective of romance. And let me caution you beforehand. What you are about to hear might cause you to rethink all your previous and current bonds. It might even explain why you have felt that odd sense of blankness in ties that look flawless on paper. There is a silent power, a concealed blueprint in your unconscious that works like a cosmic pull, drawing toward you precisely the person you require in order to finish your growth journey. Jung labeled this anima and animus. And this power is moving in your existence right now, as you scan these lines, affecting every choice you make about passion without you even noticing it. But here comes the tricky part. Most individuals overlook these hints because they are too occupied chasing what they think they desire instead of seeing what their spirit truly requires. And when I say spirit, I don't mean the shallow drama of movie stories. I am talking about something much more profound and more life-altering, something that can transform the very makeup of your character. Over more than 40 years of analyzing the human spirit, Jung noted patterns that occurred again and again in his patients. He found that those who discovered genuine love, the kind that truly shifted their lives, went through certain particular signs that most people missed or took the wrong way. These are not fluke events or dream fantasies, but actual indicators of deep internal currents moving in the most simple layers of our mind. The first hint that you have found the partner of your life is something Jung explained as the triggering of your inner match. This goes far beyond what basic science views as compatibility. In every male there lives an unconscious female side, which Jung named the anima. And in every female there lives an unconscious male side, the animus. These are not vague notions drifting in the air, but actual forces seen through brain and body changes that affect every one of your choices about romance. Well, Jung found that a man's side develops mostly through his early moments with vital female figures, mainly his mother, but it doesn't stop with this early memory. It expands throughout life, adding bits from all deep moments with women. The animus in women follows a matching but opposite path, growing mainly through moments with male figures. When you meet the partner of your life, something amazing happens on a brain level. This person easily and naturally triggers your inner match. I'm not talking about basic physical spark that dies after a few weeks. I'm talking about a feeling that happens in the lowest layers of your soul, in those parts of the head that Jung called the collective unconscious. You feel as if this person wakes up parts of you that you never knew were there. All at once, you begin to show parts of your character that have been sleeping for years, maybe even decades. A man might find an emotional softness he hid since he was a boy. A woman might find an inner power and leadability she never knew she had. Have you noticed that some people can spend months or even years with you without you ever feeling that they really see you? They might accept you, maybe even care for you in a way, but there's a silent wall that never gets smashed. While with others from the very first talk, you feel a strange closeness, as if you've been waiting your whole life for this second, as if you finally came home after a long trip, through strange lands. That is not a mistake or romantic fiction. It is your anima or animus seeing its perfect fit, the missing part of your mind's puzzle. Jung noted that in this second, areas of the brain tied to deep memories become busy as if we are recalling something we had long misplaced. But be wary, because here comes something crucial that most people miss. This triggering doesn't always feel pleasant at first. In fact, it can be very confusing. Jung found that when our deepest spots are touched, we go through what he called a complex shift. This means that your whole mental setup moves itself to fit this new vibe. It's as if someone walked into your mental home and started shifting the furniture without asking you. You might feel an odd mix of curiosity and fear, as if this person has the strength to change you in ways you cannot manage or foresee. And this is exactly where you need to give attention. Real love, the partner of your life, does not leave you as you were. It alters you on a deep level. This shift is not a choice. You cannot have only the sweet parts of this change. It's a full package that also includes the shaking of character habits you thought were fixed. Jung warned that many people flee at exactly this second, scared of the heavy change to come. The second hint is tightly tied to what Jung saw as the most vital part of mental health: the mixing of the shadow. We all have a shadow, that part of ourselves we have tucked away or pushed back because it doesn't match the face we want to show the world. The shadow holds not only our bad sides, but also our unused potential, our hidden gifts, and our most basic drives. During his decades of study, Jung found something amazing. The shadow does not vanish when we ignore it. It grows more strong, more harmful, and begins to wreck our bonds from the dark. Most relationship battles, according to Jung, are not really about the tiny problems being fought over. They are about unhidden shadow parts being thrown onto the other person. When you meet the partner of your life, something happens that most bonds never reach. This person can see your shadow without fleeing from it. Even more, in a secret way, they help you bring your shadow into your daily self in a healthy way. They don't judge you for your darker parts. They don't try to alter or repair you. They simply take all of you with a knowing that goes beyond logic. Have you ever been with someone with whom you felt you could be totally real, even in your gloomiest or most tough moments? I'm not talking about someone who barely deals with your flaws. I mean someone who in a strange way flips those flaws into strengths, or at least views them in a totally new way. For example, your habit of being too picky, which has ruined past bonds, suddenly becomes a helpful skill for making things better. Your stubbornness, which others saw as a bad trait, turns out to be great drive when used for good aims. Your high sensitivity, which has caused you so much hurt, becomes a great tool for sensing others. Jung said that true growth needs the taking in of the shadow, and here lies the truth that can change your path. The partner of your life acts like a glass that lets you see your shadow, not as something to be erased, but as something to be understood, accepted, and shifted. But watch out. This also means that this person will always test your ego. They will face you not in a cruel way, but in such a manner that you are forced to look at parts of yourself you would rather keep buried. If someone in your life does this naturally and nicely without becoming your rival, you should pay attention. This could be one of the clearest hints of real love. This test doesn't feel like an attack. It's an invite to grow, to spread out, and to become a larger version of yourself. Jung noted that fights in such bonds do not break the link, but make it thicker because both people understand that they are part of a special path of growing as one. The third hint is perhaps the most secret and strong of all: synchronicity. Jung built this idea after years of seeing that certain events with no clear link seemed to be tied by more than just chance. He called synchronicity meaningful luck that points to a deeper plan in the world. When it comes to the partner of your life, these lucky breaks grow fast and take on very complex shapes. I'm not talking about basic things like meeting in the same store. I mean, a chain of nearly impossible events that work to bring you together in a way that makes no sense. Jung recorded cases where his patients saw chains of luck so complex that he figured the math of them happening by accident. In some cases, the odds were 1 in several million, These could be repeating meetings in spots where neither person should have been, ties through people who had no clue you were meant to meet, or even dreams that came true with perfect detail. Yet synchronicities tied to the partner of your life have certain traits that set them apart from normal chance. First, they tend to happen more during times of trouble or big choices in the bond. Second, they often involve signs or pictures that mean a lot to both people. Third, they often contain parts that seem to come from totally outside places. Jung believed that synchronicities are signals that we are on the right road with our fate. When you see a chain of these events around a certain person, your hidden self is sending you a clear note. This person plays a lead role in your growth path. Have you noticed that with certain people, these signs happen almost all the time, as if the world itself is working to keep you tied? But here's the fun part. These signs don't quit once you're together. They expand and shift into even more strong shapes. You begin to feel a mental link that goes beyond logic. You might have the same thought at the same time quite often. You might have matching dreams. You might have gut feelings about each other that turn out to be perfectly right. Jung recorded cases of couples far apart who felt the same body feelings when the other was in hurt. This is not fantasy, but real events that Jung studied for decades. This deep tie is not about being clingy. It's as if you have found a shared radio signal that lets you feel each other beyond talk. The fourth hint is related to universal modes of behavior called archetypes. Jung found that most people use only a tiny part of the modes available to them. This creates a feeling of being half done. Life feels small and repetitive. When you find the partner of your life, you find that this person works like a key that unlocks several modes within you at once. They wake up not only your inner lover, but also your inner coach, your guard, your scout, or your creator. This shows up in actual ways. You might become more bold, more kind, more inventive, or more wise. Not because you are pretending, but because their being there wakes up hidden strength within you. Jung noted that in these bonds, both partners help each other reach their top self. It's as if each of you keeps the secret code to open the hidden riches of the other. Have you ever been with someone around whom you feel like your finest self without having to struggle? Their presence lights up spots in your character that had stayed dark for years. This effect goes both ways. Together, you build a power that lets both of you become more whole. Jung noted that couples who feel this often build skills that neither had by themselves. Their shared brain and creativity are much higher than when they are alone. The fifth and final hint is the feeling that with this person, you are living your own tale. Jung believed every person is born with a unique road that gives life worth. Most people live without tying into this road. When the partner of your life shows up, suddenly everything clicks. This person doesn't just fit into your tale, they make it better. It's as if you had only lived half of your book, and now you can see the whole story. Jung noted that when two people find this link, they experience a blending of opposites. It's not about being identical, it's about your differences clicking together to build something larger. This means all your past hurt and slip-ups were actually chapters that made you ready for this meeting. Every loss was a lesson. Every lonely second was a time to build the power needed for this tie. Jung called this the trip of becoming who you are truly meant to be. He noted that for most people, this trip reaches its top through the meeting with a special mate. Have you ever felt that your life with a certain person takes on a deeper worth? As if all the bits of your life suddenly fit into a lovely pattern. But there is something vital to grasp here. Spotting these hints needs being real with yourself. It's much simpler to stay on the surface and look at cash or looks than to dive into the deep parts of a tie. Jung warned that most people flee from real love because it asks for too much growth and too much truth. This kind of love does not let you stay tiny or hidden. It asks you to drop control and trust the path. Are you truly set for such a level of change? Are you set for someone to see all your spots and for their love to grow because of it? If these 5 hints are in your life, do not skip them because of fear. Your inner self is trying to tell you something about your future. It is trying to show you a road toward a version of yourself you didn't know was possible. Jung did not see love as just a passing mood. He saw it as a strong power that can lead you to your highest potential. This power follows its own rules. It cannot be forced. It can only be taken when it shows up. Jung also noticed that deep ties often start in ways that don't look like movies. They can come from friendships or even starting from a clash. Real love rarely shows up with big noise. Instead, it shows up slowly like a sunrise. It takes time for these signs to fully grow. These 5 hints do not mean the bond will be easy. In fact, deep ties often have more tests, but they also offer something no other moment can: the chance to become who you are meant to be. Do not let the fear of growth cause you to say no to this. Do not let the comfort of what you know stop you from reaching for something great. Your soul knows the truth even when your brain has doubts. When you see these hints, you have a choice. You can stay as you are, or you can find the guts to change. Jung said that meeting true love is like meeting something holy. Your hidden self has known the answer for a long time. Will you have the courage to hear this wisdom, even if it changes everything you thought you knew about passion? The hints are there for those brave enough to look. The partner of your life is a gate to the most real and strong version of yourself. Once you step through this gate and let this person into your life, you might think the trip is over. But Jung argued that the real work is just starting. You must realize that a tie this deep is like a flame that needs to be watched, so it does not die or burn too fast and cause pain. This next step is what pros call the shift from the dream of love to the truth of a shared life. Most people fail here because they expect the magic moments and the lucky breaks to do all the hard work for them. They think that because the world brought them together, the world will also pay the costs, fix the chores, and settle every small fight. But Jung believed that once the unconscious mind has finished its job of bringing you together, the awake mind must take over to build a solid frame. You have to learn how to speak to each other, not just as partners, but as 2 separate people who are trying to grow in the same way. This needs a new kind of patience that most of us were never taught in school or by our kin. You will find that even with the perfect mate, your old habits and fears will try to return and take lead of your acts. This is because the ego is very stiff and does not like the way this new love is shifting yourself. It will try to make you feel tiny again, or make you doubt the hints you saw so clearly at the start. You might find yourself starting fights over small bits just to feel like you have led again. When this happens, you must recall the signs we talked about earlier and realize that your ego is simply scared of the giant change you are going through. This is the time when you must use active listening, which means hearing what your mate is saying with their heart, not just their talk. You have to look past the top of a bad mood or a busy day to see the spirit of the person you knew as your match. This is how you keep the bond solid during the storms of life that hit every pair regardless of how meant to be they are. Another vital part of this ongoing trip is learning to balance your time together with your time alone. Even though you feel like 2 halves of a whole, Jung warned that you must still stay 2 whole people to keep the bond healthy. If you become too mixed, you might lose the very thing that made the tie so special at the start. You need to keep feeding your own hobbies, your own job, and your own personal growth so that you always have something new and fresh to bring back to the bond. Think of it like two trees growing side by side. They share the same dirt and their limbs touch in the breeze, but they each have their own roots and their own trunk. If one tree tries to grow inside the other, they both hurt and stop growing toward the light. By staying strong in your own self, you actually make the bond more stable and more interesting over the long run. Finally, you must realize that this love is a lifelong guide that will never stop showing you new things about yourself. As the years go by, the way your inner match shows up will change as you get older and your needs shift. A person who woke up your wild side in your 20s might be the one who wakes up your wise side in your 50s. The magic of a Jungian tie is that it is not stuck in time. It is a living, breathing thing that grows as you grow. You will continue to see synchronicities, but they might become quieter and more soft, like a gentle nod from the world rather than a loud yell. If you stay open and keep the guts to be real, this love will work as your anchor in a world that is always shifting. It becomes a holy space where you can always return to find out who you truly are. When you decide to stay in this deep tie, you enter the next phase, which is often the most tough but worthy part of the human path. It is one thing to find the partner of your life through magic and signs, but it is another thing to live with that power every single day while doing normal things like work or paying bills. Jung believed that the real goal of these high-level bonds is not just to be glad, but to become aware and awake. This means that your mate works as a steady light shining into the dark spots of your heart. You cannot hide from yourself when you are with someone who truly knows your spirit. This can feel very heavy at times because you are always being asked to be a better person than you were yesterday. Most people fail at this step because they want the passion without the duty of growing up. They want the feeling of coming home, but they don't want to do the house cleaning that comes with it. You must understand that a bond based on these deep patterns will have its own cycle of times. There will be times of great heat and fire where everything feels like a dream. But there will also be winters where things feel cold and still. In these cold times, it is easy to think the magic has died or that you made a mistake. But Jung taught that the winter is when the roots grow the deepest. It is the time when you learn how to be true and how to care for someone even when the sparks aren't flying. This is where you move from falling in love to standing in love. Standing in love is a choice of the will. It is a choice you make every morning to honor the holy link you found. You must learn to see the changes in your mate not as a loss of who they were, but as a new chapter in their own tale that you are lucky enough to read. As time passes, you will notice that your own character begins to feel more balanced and solid, because your mate has helped you accept your shadow and wake up your hidden sides. You no longer feel the need to look for completion outside of yourself. You are two whole circles that overlap rather than two halves that are broken without each other. This is the true meaning of the joining of opposites that Jung wrote about so often. It creates a feeling of peace that is much stronger than the rush of a new crush. You start to feel a sense of aim that reaches beyond just the two of you. Often pairs who reach this level of growth find that they have a good effect on everyone around them. Their home becomes a place of healing for friends and kin because the power they have built is so stable and real. You are no longer just living for yourselves. You are guarding a small bit of light in a world that can often feel very dark and solo. The final lesson of this trip is to realize that this love is actually a glass reflecting your tie with the world itself. By learning to love another human being with all their spots and all their beauty, you are learning how to love life itself. Jung said that in the end, we are all looking for a sense of belonging in the big tale of existence. When you look into the eyes of the partner of your life after many years, you should see not just a person, but a reflection of the holy path you have walked together. You realize that every lucky break, every fight, and every moment of joy was part of a grand plan to bring you back to your true self. The gate is always open, and as long as you have the guts to keep walking through it together, there is no cap to how much your soul can expand. This is the ultimate gift of a Jungian tie. It is a love that never stops growing because it is rooted in the infinite depth of the human spirit. After you have spent years walking this road, you reach a place that Jung called the stage of the great work. This is when the partner of your life is no longer just a person you are dating or living with, but a part of your very soul. By this time, you have faced many storms and seen each other's darkest shadows. And because of this, the mask you wear for the world has completely fallen away. You are now two people living in total truth. This level of honesty creates a kind of quiet power that is hard to find in the modern world. You no longer have to explain your thoughts or your feelings, because the tie has become a bridge that stays open all the time. Jung noted that at this stage the pair begins to share a single mental air. This means that your growth and your mate's growth happen in a lovely harmony, where a win for one is felt as a gift for the other. This is also the moment when you realize that your love has become a service to the world around you. Jung believed that when two people successfully join their opposites, they build a third thing that is larger than both of them. This third thing is a unique energy or a shared mission that leaves a mark on the world. You might find that together you are able to make art, build a business, or raise a family in a way that feels like a holy task. Your bond is no longer just about your own joy. It becomes a source of light for others who are still lost in the dark. People will look at your link and feel a sense of hope because you are living proof that the deep patterns of the world actually work. You have turned a simple human meeting into a work of art of the soul through your daily choices and your refusal to quit when things got tough. As you both grow older, you will start to see the final sign of this trip, which is the feeling of finishing without end. This sounds like a clash of ideas, but it means that while you feel totally happy with the love you have found, you also know that there is always more to find. You realize that the partner of your life was not a stop you reached, but a car you used to travel through the secret of existence. Jung noted that in the final years of a life lived this way, the fear of the unknown fades. This is because you have already felt the most vital thing a human can feel, the union with another soul. You have tasted the infinite within the finite. You have seen the divine in the face of a human being.